Hi, my name is Jake, and I am a bookish drummer. So for this video, I'll talk about my July TBR, all of the books that I plan on getting to in the month of July. And I haven't really been making TBR videos for the past few months or so, simply because I've fallen back in love with mood reading. But as it turns out, because of various reasons, which I'll go over in the video, I have a pretty strict TBR for this month. There's not a lot of wiggle room. But anyway, enough of the preamble. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. So the first book I will mention here is a continuation for my Stephen King short story book club read-along that I'm doing. And we just wrapped up Skeleton Crew, which was a lot of fun getting everyone's opinions on all of the stories. And so we just finished that. And now we will continue on with Nightmares and Dreamscapes. This will start on July 4th, and pretty much the same deal as with Night Shift and Skeleton Crew. We'll read one, possibly two short stories a week. And this is a chunker, so it's going to go on for quite a while, basically until December. And I posted the schedule for the read-along for this one in my Discord, so if anyone's interested, come join the Stephen King Short Story Book Club, and we'll read one short story a week, and I'll post a poll, and we can chat about it, and it'll be a lot of fun. And the next two Stephen King books I definitely have to get to, and that would be the last Richard Bachman book, Blaze, which is one of my all-time favorite Richard Bachman books. Reading this with Josephina, and we will eventually do our live show for the last bunch of Richard Bachman books that we read. Very excited for that one. And then I'm, of course, continuing on with Dark Tower with Wolves of the Kala, which honestly is probably my least favorite Dark Tower book. Even though I still enjoy it, there's a large chunk in the middle here that I'm just not a fan of. But I'm assuming I will like it more the second time around just because I'll be used to the characters and whatnot. But this is my least favorite, and I'm still excited to read it, though. Speaking of Josephina, she won my Patreon wheel spin, and the book that she chose for me to read in the month of July is Mr. Mercedes by Stephen King, of course. And this isn't one of my all-time favorite King books, but I do love the second book in this trilogy, so I'm thinking I might read this book, and then sometime in the near future I will reread the second book because I love the second book, so I am still excited to get to it. And of course I will do a dedicated review for it just like I do for all of my Patreon winners. And of course for all of those Stephen King books that I mentioned, I will have channels open in my Discord for all of them. The next book that I know I have to get to is The Ninth Reign by Jen Williams. And I'm reading this because Stacy, not my girlfriend Stacy, but others, I've been calling her other Stacy, she won Guess the Beat for June, for the month of June. And this is the book that she chose off of my TBR list on Goodreads for me to read. She really likes this book. She's really enjoying the series, so she wants to get my opinion on it, and very excited to jump into it. I've had this book for a while now, and this is a really good excuse for me to finally, read the book. So I'm very excited to jump right into it. And then the other book that I definitely will have to get to, and I say have to like it's going to be a chore because it's not. It's one of my favorite books of all time. One of my favorite series. Anyway, it's a buddy read with Joanna from the channel Joanna and Stacy, my girlfriend. We're going to be buddy reading Red Seas Under Red Skies, which is the sequel to one of my all-time favorite books, The Lies of Locke Lamora by Scott Lynch. It's the second book in the Gentleman Bastard series. I love this book. Give it 5 stars. And I'm already kind of cheating, and I've already gotten a little head start there, just a little tiny bit. Read the prologue, a little bit of the first chapter. If anyone wants to join us, I have a buddy read channel for it in my Discord server. So if anyone wants to come hop into that buddy read and read along with us, you're more than welcome to do so. I love this book. All right, so the last part of my TBR will be pretty exciting because I'm taking part in the Indie Accords Readathon, which is basically a readathon designed to get you to read more indie and self-published authors. And that will be taking place in the month of July, and of course I will leave the link for all of that information down below. I'm very excited because I do have a lot of indie and self-pub authors that I'd love to get to, and I will talk about some of the ones that I could possibly get to. So the first one I'll mention will be by Drew Hayes, and that would be the Fred the Vampire Accountant books. I've already read the first book, but that was, I think, last year now, and it's been a while since I've read it, so this is the second book. I'm going to have to go back and read the first book, which has an incredibly long title that I can't remember, but I'll reread that book, and then I'll read the second book for the first time, which will be fun. And then if I want to, I might just binge a lot of the other books, so like books 3, 4, and I think there's like 7 books in the series, so I might just binge those. And also, not only do I love the book and the author, but the audiobooks are narrated by Kirby Hayborn, my favorite narrator, so even more of an incentive for me to get to Drew Hayes' books. So yeah, very excited for Fred the Vampire Accountant. The next book I want to get to is the sequel to The Patience of a Dead Man by Michael Clark. Me and Stacy read this to each other last month, and we very much enjoyed it. Very good horror debut novel. In July, we'll be reading the sequel, Dead Woman Scorned, which I'm very excited for. And Stacy will be reading that to me because she has a physical copy and I don't. So that'll be a lot of fun. And we'll probably get through it very quickly because it's a very short book with very, very short chapters. I think there's like over 100 chapters, something ridiculous like that. So it'll go by very quickly. Very excited for that. And speaking of reading to each other, the book that I'll probably read to her, because I have a copy and she doesn't, is The Dark Trials by T. James Kelly. I watched Andrew's live show author interview with this author. He seemed like a very cool dude, and the book sounded really good, and I definitely want to give it a shot. Yeah, like I said, it sounds really good. I'm very interested in reading it, so that'll probably be one that I definitely get to. Another book that I want to get to is a book that I don't own physically, but it's on Scribd as an audio, and that would be The Moon of the Crusted Snow. I've heard great things about it from a lot of people, including Stacy. She said it's a really good and quick audiobook, and it meets some of the prompts for Indie Accords, so I will definitely be listening to that. Although I don't really know a lot about it, I do know that it's supposed to be good Indigenous people rep, pretty sure. So that'll be a lot of fun to read a story like that. And the last book that I really want to get to, if I have time, would be Sephiroth's Hand by Melissa McPhail. Now, a long time ago, back when I was in college, I actually read the first half of this chunk of a book on Kindle, but I kind of got burnt out on reading it because I really don't like reading Kindle books. I much prefer physical and audio, especially when they're together. And now that I finally, have money to buy the physical books, I bought this and I really want to get to it, and it's a pretty good excuse for Indie Accords to read this because it is self-pub, so that'll be a lot of fun. And I do predict this is going to be one of my new favorite series because from what I remember, the first half of this book, even though I wasn't enjoying my time reading it on Kindle, I still loved the ideas and the characters that this author introduced. So if I can manage to get to it, it would be great, but it's a chunker of a book, so who knows if I'll actually be able to get to all of it. Maybe I can read like the first half in July, and then I don't know, but I really want to get to it. All right, so those are all of the books for my July TBR. Again, a lot of these books I have to read, and then a lot of the books for Indie Accords I can kind of play around with, but I definitely want to try to focus on reading some good indie and self-pub books. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. Please let me know if you've read any of these books and whether you love them, whether you hated them, or whether you thought they were kind of meh. Just a little thing of meh. They're a little meh. And also let me know what you're reading in the month of July. Are you taking part in the Indie Accords? Because if you're not, you should, because it'll be a lot of fun to check out some indie authors and some self-pub and get all of them some recognition. So again, I'll leave the link for all of that down below. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. And if you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my YouTube channel and the Book Astronomer Discord. And if you'd like to further support me, go check out my Patreon page and see what that's all about. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching and have a terrific day.